Hi, this is Peyton and Kayla, and we're doing the environmental movement.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about what the starting point was of the movement. And in this case, there actually wasn't one. Usually there's like an organized meeting or something. But in this case, there isn't really an identified set in stone starting point. So for your first blank in your guided notes, the environmental movement never named a specific meeting or act to be the starting point of the movement. And for your second one, put down that there have been multiple starting points named, which we'll discuss in the next couple of slides.
Okay, so for one of the first possible starting points was Silent Spring by Rachel Carson, and she she wrote this was like an influential novel about pesticides, DDT, and the book opened like people's eyes up to the hazards of this commonly used chemical, and this book led to the ban of the pesticide DDT. And we're going to talk more about what DDT was and what it did in the later slides.
Another example of a possible starting point would be the first Earth Day celebration, which was celebrated on April 22nd of 1970. And on this day, Americans flooded the streets and protested many different critical environment issues which were affecting our world. And this starting point is probably the most well-known possible starting point because it is still continued and celebrated today.
Okay, so a third possible starting point of the environmental movement was the Sierra Club, and it was founded by the preservationist John Muir, and he worked a lot with the Yosemite National Park to preserve the land. And a famous quote he said was, "Do something for wilderness and make the mountains glad." And this just shows how he, like, how dedicated he was to preserving the land and to the Sierra Club. And it's just like, it really like showed motivation for the environment movement for other people.
Okay, so now referring back to the pesticide DDT from the Rachel Carlson's book, The Silent Spring. It was developed in 1939 and was originally used to delouse items in the war and to kill malaria-carrying insects. So, for example, like in the war, they would, and as you can see in this photo down here, they're just in a line. And this isn't necessarily like a picture from the war, but it's just an example of how they used this pesticide to benefit like modern day people to kill possible disease-carrying insects. And the main difference from this pesticide to the other pesticides that could possibly be still used today is that it did not only destroy one or two specific insects, it destroyed hundreds. So it killed all different kinds of insects. Obviously, this could have changed up the like way that the circle of life goes, and like the food chain. And then a spray as indiscriminate as DDT can upset the economy of nature as much as a revolution upsets social economy. 90% of all insects are good, and if they're killed, things go out of kilter right away. And that was said by Edwin Wade Teal, and he was just someone who knew more about DDT than other people and was more against it. And the picture down on the right, it shows how they began to use it on their crops to savor their crops. And as you can see, these women kind of look happy, and because they don't know how horrible this pesticide is until later on when it gets banned.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the Environmental Protection Agency. And this agency creates modern day protections for the environment, and it makes sure that Americans are protected from significant health risks from the environment and everything that branches off of that. So it's just like a way, it's just like a modern day way, an organization to like make sure that everybody is healthy and safe from the environment, and it creates regulations about the environment from laws made by Congress. And this picture to the right is just the building that the agency is at, and to the left is the symbol that it uses. And it's just really like the modern day form of like environment protection for environment.
So next we're going to talk about the Environmental Working Group, which was a branch off of the Environmental Protection Agency. It's The Environmental Protection Agency is just the overall agency. They have a bunch of different branches. So, focusing on this specific one, its goal was to empower people to live healthier lives in a healthier environment. And something like things that they would do would be to find breakthrough research, and they're important because they had to inform the public of what's going on and kind of broaden the people who know about the problems. For example, this isn't in your guided notes, but they worked on, they like studied and researched the ozone layer depletion, and um, didn't realize that there was a problem until they actually went to Antarctica and witnessed it, and they were probably one of the first people to actually announce this and then bring it back to the Environmental Protection Agency, and then soon later on let people know about this problem, because you probably know it today and this is the people that it came from.
Alright, so there's so many dedicated people to the environment, and you'd think that we'd have all these different solutions to make it a more healthy and better place, but there are many ways that are like holding us back from allowing the environment to thrive, and money is one of those factors because most of the funding is going to the large communities instead of the small communities. And this is like one of the most important like problems that we have with allowing the environment to thrive. And also, people only realize a problem if it is directly affecting them, instead of like looking at what could be causing it. And it like people must shine the problem into the eyes of more people so that like everybody can like decide what is really the problem and can make a change to make it better. Thank you for listening. Have a good night. See you tomorrow in school.